It was a cold November night, the darkness swallowing the world whole. On a deserted highway, a truck driver spotted a man lying on the asphalt. He stopped, headlights illuminating a figure in a well-kept suit, strangely out of place. No wallet, no phone, no ID. Just a man, unconscious but unharmed. Paramedics found nothing to identify him. At the hospital, doctors were baffled. He was perfectly healthy, late 40s, salt and pepper hair, a kind face. Who was he? Where did he come from? Hours later he woke up, calm, but confused. He sat up, looked around, and simply said, "I think I'm late." Not, "Where am I?" Just that. The nurse asked his name. Jonathan Miller. He didn't know how he got there. He wanted to call his mother, get to work, said he had a big presentation, the pieces of a life, a name, a family, a job. But as authorities would soon discover, these pieces belonged to a puzzle that could never be solved. The nurse jotted down his details, but nothing matched. He was cooperative, eager to help, but his story only deepened the mystery. He insisted he needed to get back. He was late. The questions hung in the air. Who was Jonathan Miller? Where did he come from? Why did he appear, perfectly healthy, on a deserted road? The mystery had just begun, and it was about to get stranger. No one could have predicted what would come next. A man with no past, no injuries, and a story that didn't fit. The authorities were left with more questions than answers. Jonathan Miller was a ghost on the roadside, and the world would never be the same. Police questioned Jonathan Miller at the hospital. He described his life in vivid detail. An architect at Sterling and Finch, a mother named Eleanor, an apartment on Elmwood Lane. He remembered phone numbers, colleagues, even the smell of the bakery on his street. It all sounded real. The officer felt relief. Just a case of amnesia, maybe. But when they called the number for his mother, it was out of service. They tried variations. Nothing. They searched for Sterling and Finch. No record, ever. The officer asked if he was sure. "Of course," John said. "I've worked there 15 years. He described the office, the marble floors, the ficus by the elevator. But none of it existed. They searched for Eleanor Miller. Found one. But she died in childbirth in 1945. She never had a son." The officer stared at the report, stunned. John calmly sipped water, certain of his memories. A mother who couldn't have existed. A company that was never founded. An address that wasn't real. Jonathan Miller's life was a beautifully detailed, utterly impossible fabrication. Every detail he gave led to a dead end. The more they checked, the less sense it made. He remembered everything, except anything that could be verified. The police were left with a man whose past was a perfect fiction. John remained calm, polite, and unwavering. His story never changed, but the facts refused to line up. The mystery deepened. Who was Jonathan Miller? No one could say. Next, the police checked his address, Elmwood Lane, apartment 3B. John described the street, oak trees, a corner bakery, his landlord's name. It was all so specific. The officers searched city maps, old and new. No Elmwood Lane, no record, ever. The street had never existed, they told John. He insisted, "But it does. I walked down it this morning. I have the key." He reached into his pocket, where paramedics had found nothing, and produced an ornate brass key labeled 3B. The officers were stunned. They had searched him thoroughly. The key was real, heavy, old-fashioned. They analyzed it. No known manufacturer, unusual metal, no matching lock. A key with no lock, just as John was a man with no past. He insisted his home was real. The key was the only proof he had. The officers were left with a tangible object from an intangible world. The mystery only deepened. John remained patient, polite, and certain. His reality was unshakable, but nothing else was. The key sat in evidence, a riddle with no answer. John's story was impossible, yet he believed every word, and the world had no explanation. Investigators turned to science. They ran John's fingerprints through every database. Nothing. The scanner crashed, then returned unreadable errors. His prints couldn't be classified. It was like showing a computer a color it had never seen. Technicians called it a glitch, but it felt like something more. Doctors performed a brain scan. The MRI showed brain activity off the charts, organized, intricate, unlike anything they'd seen. It looked less like a human brain, more like a circuit board, or a star map. The doctor said, "It's as if he's processing information from multiple realities at once." His brain wasn't broken, just fundamentally different. The hardware was familiar, but the software was alien. Jonathan Miller was not just a man with no past, he was a man whose biology defied explanation, a glitch in the system of reality itself. The experts were left speechless. Every test raised more questions. John remained calm, unbothered. The mystery grew deeper. Science had no answers. Jonathan Miller was an enigma, and reality itself seemed to bend around him. The case hit a dead end. Jonathan Miller, a man of paradoxes, a detailed past that never happened, fingerprints that broke machines, a brain that defied science. He waited in his hospital room, always calm, always polite. On the third night, he vanished. The nurse checked at 2 a.m. Was Trudine. Via funds. Tun Stiper in mine and Derg. 15. The room was empty, bed made, window locked. Security cameras showed nothing. No one entered, no one left. It was as if he evaporated. Police searched everywhere. No trace. The only thing left, the strange brass key to apartment 3B, on a street that didn't exist. It sits in an evidence locker, a silent testament to a mystery with no solution. Who was he? A glitch in reality. A visitor from a parallel world. We may never know. The man who never existed remains just that. A ghost story told by baffled doctors and police. A question mark hanging in the cold November air. And the world is left wondering.